At exactly 12 a.m., every light in the house turned off, except the microwave. Its digital clock, usually a soft green, burned red like an open wound. Zoo-wheel, a loud click echoed from nowhere, and then nothing moved. Not the curtains, not the air, not even the dog scratching itself in the hallway. The world held its breath, and just like that, midnight began again. Ever wonder what would happen if time didn't move forward? If the clock struck 12 and just stayed there? Not for everyone, but just for you, and the few unfortunate souls who happen to be awake, aware, and alone. That's what happened to us. My name's Danny. I don't really do spooky. I'm not the one looking for ghosts in graveyards or exploring moldy tunnels under old libraries. I'm more of a stay home and overthink things kind of person. But that night was different. And I think deep down part of me always knew something was off about that school. People said it was just an old building, shut down years ago after a fire that never made the news. But buildings don't hum at night, they don't whisper names, and they don't trap you inside a moment. There were 4 of us that night. Me, Taz, my best friend and human chaos generator. Ray, who didn't believe in anything but still somehow always knew more than the rest of us. And Mina, who spoke like she had secrets sewn into her bones. We didn't plan to break in. We weren't that kind of stupid. But when the town's power flickered and every phone started buzzing with a notification that didn't have a sender, curiosity sort of kicked the door open. We followed the message, returned to where it burned. That was it. No context. Just those words and a timestamp of 12 a.m. from the next day. It didn't make sense. Except to Ray, who muttered something about temporal displacement like that was totally normal and led us straight to the gates of Aldridge High. The place had been locked up since before we were born. Faded caution tape still fluttered across the entrance, and weeds taller than my knees pushed through the concrete. The windows were blacked out, but the faint glow of something unnatural, leaked from within. The wind died the moment we stepped inside, like the building inhaled and forgot how to exhale. The lobby was worse than I imagined. A dead vending machine stood like a forgotten monolith, cracked glass reflecting shapes that didn't match ours. Water stains snaked down the walls and lockers yawned open like mouths mid-scream. The air smelled stale but sharp, like ozone or burnt plastic. Time had clearly given up on this place. But then, we saw it. The clock above the main hallway, completely untouched, still ticking, still gleaming silver like someone polished it just yesterday. Except the hands didn't move. They pointed straight at midnight and stayed there. We should have turned around. Any sane person would have. But instead, we wandered deeper. The lights flickered once, then again, then didn't come back on. Phones, dead. Every single one. Taz tried to laugh it off. Okay, very funny ghost school. You got us. We're creeped out. Let's go. But the front door wouldn't open. No matter how hard we pushed, pulled, kicked, or yelled, it wasn't stuck. It just didn't exist anymore. Ray was quiet, too quiet. That's when we heard it. A voice, distant, not echoing from the hallway, but inside our heads. Stay awake, stay moving, stay alive. We froze. You could almost hear our thoughts colliding. No one wanted to say what we were all thinking. Taz broke the silence. Okay, yeah, I'm officially voting for panic. Then the hallway lights blinked on. Not all of them, just a single path. A trail of fluorescent lights illuminating one corridor, leading us toward the old gym. No one said anything, but we followed. The kind of silence that feels like holding a scream in your throat. The gym was worse than the lobby. Its wooden floor had splintered into patterns that almost looked intentional. Like runes, symbols none of us could place. Bleachers had collapsed in on themselves, and above the stage at the far end hung a charred banner with letters half melted. ALDIGROMCG. We stared, trying to decode the missing letters. Mina squinted, tracing them in the air with her finger. Aldridge prom coming, she whispered. No! Aldridge from C. Oh, what? But before we could finish, the sound hit. Tick, 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 tick. Not from the gym, not from the hall, from everywhere. A rapid fire ticking, like dozens, no, hundreds of clocks, all out of sync. all trying to catch up to something we couldn't see. And then the lights died. Again, total blackness. Not the kind your eyes adjust to, the kind that feels alive. I blinked hard, trying to keep my balance. I heard breathing, too much of it, not ours. It was wet, gurgling, and then laughter. Not a person's laugh, a place's. Like the school itself had been waiting for this moment. A loud crash. Taz tripped over something. I reached out trying to help, and my hand touched something cold. Not the floor, not a body, something metal, like a doorknob. But there was no door. Suddenly the light snapped back. We were still in the gym, but something had changed. The banner gone, the runes rearranged, and Ray? He was gone too. We called his name. Searched every corner, no sign, no sound, just that ticking. Now slower, methodical. We found his phone lying in the center of the court, screen still on. One app open, voice memo, a single file, timestamped 12 a.m. again. I press play. His voice, barely a whisper. If you're hearing this, I didn't make it out. Time doesn't work here, not like it should. Don't trust the clocks, don't trust the doors, and whatever you do, static. And then through the speakers, stay awake, stay moving, stay... The voice cut out. We stared at each other, all thinking the same thing. If time stopped, who would still be moving in the dark? It was impossible to tell how long we stood there. Time didn't feel right anymore. The gym lights buzzed, still flickering slightly, but outside those walls, nothing moved. No birds, no wind, just silence. The kind of silence that feels curated, like something had chosen what we were allowed to hear. Mina crouched next to Ray's phone. "This doesn't make sense," she whispered. If he recorded this at midnight, how did it get here before we found it? Taz was pacing now, trying hard not to let the fear show, which of course meant he was being extra loud. Okay, wait, Ray's gone. Time's broken, ghost school is messing with us. That voice thing said stay awake, stay moving. Maybe this is like a dream we can't pause. No dream has runes on the floor, I muttered, pointing toward the pattern etched into the wood. And no dream steals your friends. That's when Mina noticed something else. She stepped closer to the strange carving, brushing off dust, revealing a line we hadn't seen before. Not a rune, a word. Return. Return where? I asked, but none of us had time to answer. The gym door creaked open by itself. Beyond it, the hallway was different. Too clean, too symmetrical. The damage from earlier, the cracked walls, the fallen ceiling tiles, all gone. It looked like it had decades ago, before the fire. But there were no people, no sounds. Just a long, straight corridor lit by red emergency lights that didn't flicker. We stepped into it, one by one, hearts pounding. Somewhere in that hallway, a door slammed. Taz jumped. Okay, officially done with this. Can we just break a window? Set off a fire alarm? Light a flare? There's no outside, Mina said flatly. She was right. Through the windows, we didn't see trees or roads or stars. Just a black fog swirling like a slow motion storm. Then we spotted it. A trail of footprints leading away from us. Barefoot. Human. Damp. Not Ray's shoes. No one said it, but we all thought it. We're not alone in here. We followed them anyway. The prince led us through the old science wing. I didn't realize how loud the hum of broken lights was until we walked under one that went completely silent as we passed. Each step made the next feel heavier. It was like the hallway was stretching, distorting the closer we got to something. On the wall to our left, a poster was curled and yellowed but somehow intact. It said, "Prom night, a moment to last forever." Someone had scribbled over it in red pen, or maybe it was something darker, crossing out the word forever and writing instead, "Always midnight." Taz stopped walking. I hate this. I seriously hate this, but the footprints didn't stop. We reached a doorway that shouldn't have been there. It looked too new. Steel frame, heavy lock, and above it, in glowing letters, a sign that read, "Temporal storage, do not open." Naturally, we opened it. The room inside was impossibly cold. Frost crept across the floor and clung to the pipes overhead. No windows, no clocks. Just a wall of file cabinets, each one labeled with names we didn't recognize. Mina opened the first drawer and pulled out a sheet of paper. Her face turned pale. It was a photo of her in this school from 10 years ago. She hadn't lived here then. None of us had. More drawers, more photos, all of us. Taz in a classroom looking directly into the lens. Me sitting alone on a staircase I'd never seen before. Ray standing in the gym we just left. Except in the photo, the bleachers were packed. Everyone was smiling, wearing old-fashioned prom clothes. There was only one explanation. This school, it remembers people, I said. Not just remembers, records them. Or it's feeding them back to us, Mina whispered. Like memories that don't belong. Taz spun around, suddenly furious. Okay, we followed the creepy footprints, opened the sci-fi cold room, found spooky memory drawers. Great. But where the hell is Ray? Then he saw it. A message scratched into the metal wall behind the cabinets. The doors aren't doors. And beneath it, a drawing, rough, etched with something sharp. A spiral, perfectly symmetrical. No beginning, no end, a loop. Suddenly the lights blinked out again. Darkness swallowed the room. This time, we heard whispering, not words, just the sound of language. Like something too old to translate, pressing against the walls. I gripped Taz's sleeve. Don't stop moving. That's what it said, right? He nodded, I think. And then the whispering stopped. So fast it rang in our ears like silence had shattered. We blinked as the light came back, slow and golden like morning sunlight. But we weren't in the cold room anymore. We were in the library. Only this time, it looked untouched, clean, bookshelves, computers humming, a calendar on the wall reading May 21st, 1995. No way, Taz whispered. We went back. This is the past. But something was wrong with the students sitting at the desks. Not frozen exactly. They were stuck mid-motion. A girl mid-turn, a teacher about to speak. Their faces blank, no pupils, eyes open too wide. Are they the statues? Mina asked. Ray sat at the front of the room. Back to us, we ran to him. I shook his shoulder. Ray, no reaction. Mina stepped in front of him, waved a hand. His eyes blinked once. Then, without warning, he spoke. Too fast, like a recording. They make you part of the loop if you wait too long. Every hour is the same. Midnight resets. Don't trust what looks alive. Don't sleep. And don't listen to his voice cut off. His body collapsed, dust spilling from his mouth. I screamed. And then we heard footsteps. Behind us in the aisle. Slow, measured. Taz spun, fists up. Who's there? No answer, just those steady approaching footsteps. One by one, wooden heels on tiled floor. We backed up, into the shelves, into shadows, then silence. No one appeared. But where Ray had been, there was now a folded note. Mina picked it up, read it aloud. The loop doesn't trap everyone. Someone built it, someone still watches. Find the origin, or become part of it. The lights dimmed again, and I swear, one of the frozen students turned their head. We didn't scream. Not this time. We couldn't afford to. That turn of the head, slow, deliberate, like thawed wax, froze us worse than the darkness ever had. The students' eyes weren't eyes anymore. Just hollow black pits, as if something had scooped them out and replaced them with stillness. They didn't move again. None of them did, but now we knew. These weren't mannequins. They weren't memories. They were people. People left behind. We ran, not for the door, it was gone again, but toward a staircase that hadn't been there moments before. The spiral shape of it, too precise to be accidental, wound downward into what felt like the spine of the building. Down we went, faster than we could think, past floors that seemed to flicker in and out of existence. 1 second we saw dusty lockers, the next, nothing but thick static fog behind glass. Then we reached the bottom, one door, solid wood, carved with the same spiral symbol we'd seen scratched into the metal wall. But this time, the spiral was glowing, breathing almost, like it could sense us, like it was waiting. Taz hesitated. We really doing this? This feels like final boss energy. Mina didn't reply, she just reached out and opened the door. We expected a room, a basement, a chamber, some kind of engine controlling the broken time. But what we saw was sky, black, streaked with red. Clouds circling a massive clock face suspended in the air, cracked and spinning in reverse. Round its edges were dozens of doorways floating in place. Some led to classrooms, others to bedrooms. One was the hospital hallway, another a train car with no passengers, all of them glowing faintly, all of them ours. It was like looking into memories you didn't make, lives you hadn't lived yet. A narrow path of stone hovered above the void, leading us to the center. The ticking here was louder, constant, pulsing with each footstep. The sky above us split again and again, like lightning, but without sound. Just flashes of people, faces caught mid-scream, mid-laugh, mid-death, then gone. Mina was the first to speak. We're in the mechanism, the thing behind the loop. Or inside the loop, I said, breath-catching. This whole place, it's not memory, it's moment. One moment, midnight, just repeating. We reached the center, a raised dais with an object suspended above it. A pocket watch, enormous, silver, etched with the same spiral. And inside it, a person, Ray, eyes closed, hovering inside the glass. Taz stepped forward. We get him out, if we get out, right? Mina studied the base of the dais. Symbols, again, different ones this time, like controls or warnings. Wait, look at this. The watch isn't just trapping him, it's powered by him. You're saying he's the battery, Taz asked. No, I think he's the key. He figured out too much. That message he left, it wasn't a warning, it was a trigger. Suddenly a sound behind us, footsteps. We turned, and there, at the far end of the stone path stood a woman, or what looked like a woman, perfectly symmetrical, ageless, wearing a school uniform that flickered like bad film. She had no shadow, and her voice didn't come from her mouth. It came from everywhere. He opened the loop. You followed it. Now it must reset. Taz stepped in front of me. Yeah, we're not really in the mood for cryptic threats from a time demon right now. But she didn't move, didn't blink. Curiosity starts it. Memory feeds it. You were never supposed to come here. Mina spoke now, calm, furious. Why trap us? Why anyone? What is this place? The woman smiled, not with kindness, with inevitability. Not a place, a moment, a question asked by the wrong mind at the wrong time. She raised a hand. The dais began to crack. Ray stirred inside the glass. I made a choice. I ran. Straight to the watch. My fingers wrapped around the edge of the casing. It burned cold. The spiral flickered, shifting direction. Danny! Mina shouted. Wait! Too late. I turned the spiral. The watch opened. Light exploded around us, white gold and endless. Ray fell into my arms coughing. Time stopped. Truly stopped. Everything froze. The demon woman, the floating doors, the sky, the sound. Only our group, me, Mina, Taz, and Ray remained. And then the spiral reappeared, floating in the air, waiting. Ray opened his eyes. It's a machine, not built by humans, not really, just shaped by them. We fed it by asking, by fearing, by remembering. Mina pointed. Look, the doors are still open. We saw them, different versions of us. One door showed us never entering the school. Another showed only 3 of us. One showed none. Taz stepped forward, then stopped. So, do we just walk out? Ray shook his head. Only if we choose the right version, the one where the loop ends, not resets. How do we know which one that is, I asked. No one answered, but the watch started ticking again. We had to choose. One door shimmered darker than the others, not clean, not polished. A burned door, scarred and unlabeled. Mina pointed. Ah, that's where it started. The fire, the real midnight. I think we go there. We looked at each other, all nodding, all scared. We walked through. Heat, smoke, sirens in the distance. The school burned around us, but this time we weren't alone. There were people, real ones, firefighters, students running. A girl at the top of the stairs holding something in her hands. The watch. She saw us, froze. She was me, younger or older, hard to tell, but definitely me. She whispered, "Don't let it start again." And then everything collapsed. I woke up to sunlight on my face, a park bench, birds chirping, Taz snoring next to me, Mina scrolling her phone, Ray sipping cold coffee, no clocks ticking, no red numbers. I checked the time, 12:01 a.m., then 12:02. Time moved. We didn't talk about it, not right away. But I still have the photo, the one from the drawer. Me sitting on a staircase I've never found again. And sometimes just before I sleep, I hear it, a soft whisper in the dark. Stay awake, stay moving, stay. But then it fades, and the clock keeps ticking. For now,